Hey guys, I'm Nathan from Arms and Armor. Today I want to show you our Saxon military sword, which is so cool. So, first of all, when people hear the word Saxon, they're usually thinking of pre-Viking Anglo-Saxon people, probably living in England. When we say Saxon military sword, we mean this is from Saxony, from the Electorate of Saxony. So this sword is a replica of an existing piece that's in Dresden from around the year 1560. So at that point, the region of Saxony, which today is parts of Germany and Poland, was part of the Holy Roman Empire. And when Emperor Charles IV issued a rule on succession, on how Holy Roman emperors would be selected, he created 7 electorates, and Saxony was one of them. So Saxony is a region that's around the city of Wittenberg, and this style of sword, which it is essentially a rapier, it's a heavy rapier with a ricasso, became really iconic from the area of Saxony. So this sword, how do you tell it's Saxon? Well, the quillins that are kind of spatulate and form this diamond section and profile at the ends are very typical, but if you look at it at the end here, you can see that one side is flat and the other side is hollow ground. And this is really typical of these Saxon swords. Sometimes they're really highly ornate and etched, right? There's one in the Higgins collection that is super fancy like that. The other thing these often have is a large faceted pommel. So this pommel is big. Right here you can see the roping design on it. This one has a large chape as part of the hilt that the blade goes into, and this chape would have gone around the scabbard, essentially. You'd stick the blade in the scabbard and the scabbard would go up into the chape, which helped hold it on, maybe made it a little watertight, whatever. This example is interesting as an early complex hilted sword. So on the outside of the grip, you've got this ring that is also gently hollow ground and expands into a diamond section just like the quillins do, right? So there's this motif of hollow ground diamond shapes and roping on the decorative aspects of this. The other interesting thing is this back sweep. So this is a single bar that rises from right where the finger goes, comes up, takes a 90-degree angle, and sweeps around to the back. You can see that when I hold this in my hand, it protects my thumb and my finger. Right? It's a pretty cool design. It's simpler than a lot of later rapiers, but really elegant and quite protective. So this kind of sword is beefier than many rapiers, weighs about 3 pounds. And that is because the blade is quite stout. Diamond section, it tapers. You can cut with this, you can thrust, you can be mounted and ride people down. So it wasn't a strictly civilian weapon like some rapiers were, especially lighter ones. One of the other interesting pieces of decoration on this is the grip. So these Saxon style swords often featured coronals or crowns on the grip. So this one is made of 6 pieces. So the grip underneath is wood covered with black leather. Then we have these 2 crowns and then 4 bronze bars that are slightly inset into the grip and held on by compression with the coronals. This is a traditional way of making these things, and it really stands out against especially this blued patina. So I'm going to show you a couple other ones from some books and some collections here before giving you some wrap-up thoughts. So here's an interesting example from this book, Fine Arms and Armor. This one is also from Dresden, and it features this same ring and spatulated ends, although this one features a secondary ring with a pierced plate on it as well. But you can see that the grip also has these coronels, and it has a faceted octagonal pommel on it with a bit wider than a normal rapier blade, right? These are a heftier type of sword. So there's that book again. Then you can also take a look in the catalog of the Wallace collection. Here, if you're looking at this, it's plates 108 and 109. And there are a series of Saxon style longswords, which are pretty much the same as this sword, but with a longer grip and a bit more guard for two hands. So this one and this one and this one all have this typical style of those expanding diamond-shaped hollow ground quillins on those. These swords, if you're a fencer, are really contemporaneous geographically and historically with, for example, Joachim Meyer and his Art of Fencing book, which was 1570-ish, right? So when you look at the kinds of rapiers and fighting styles that are being used in that text, they are quite similar to this guy, right? They're not those later rapiers that have very little blade presence, sometimes way out at the point, that are mostly just for thrusting, right? This sword is substantial. You can cut with it. You can also point well, right? It functions beautifully. I think it's a gorgeous piece. So go to our website and check it out. Thank you.